everybody, welcome to yet another live cooking video with us. So today you'll be seeing a new face, and my name is Rachel. I'm a nutritionist from MinMed. Okay, so let me just wait for our viewers to log in, okay, before we start our cooking session today. Alright, so if you don't already know, today we'll be making a rice cooker banana bread. Okay, so how many of you here do enjoy eating bread? Okay, if you do, you can leave your comments below in our Facebook page. Okay, and I'll be able to see your comments from there. Hello, Adrian. Can you see me live? Because I cannot see any comments at all. Oh, but I can't see comments. It's all fun. So, am I supposed to go to me at home to see the comments? Yeah, I'm in that video. So, by right on the left-hand side. Also, oh, okay, 好，明白，拜拜。Okay, so I see some bread lovers here. So hi Stephanie, Jolene, Michelle, Chelsea, hello. Okay, so let me do a self-introduction again. So my name is Rachel. I'm a nutritionist from MinMed. Okay, so you have seen Jolene probably from the previous live videos, and you have seen her in action last Saturday. You have seen her cooking the braised brown rice bihun using the rice cooker. Okay, so today I'm also going to teach you how to use the rice cooker to prepare a very nutritious, high fiber banana bread. Okay, so let's talk about bread first. Okay, so bread is actually one of our staple. You can find a lot of different varieties available out there, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you here are bread lovers as well. Okay, so how many of you here are team kaya toast? If you like to eat kaya toast, okay, you can put a heart shape, so I know you belong to team kaya toast. If you do enjoy eating your atta sourdough bread from the cafe, you can put a thumbs up, and I'll know that you're actually from the sourdough team. Alright, so you can comment. Okay, hi Emmeline. Yes, we are making banana bread today using the rice cooker. Okay, so for me, I enjoy my kaya toast with eggs, but I do enjoy my sourdough with smashed avocado as well. So I'm basically team rojak. Alright, so now let's go ahead and start introducing our ingredients needed for today's banana bread. Okay, so first we'll require plain flour. Okay, so as you can see, plain flour. So I'm gonna add my plain flour into my mixing bowl. Okay, and the second ingredient that I'll require would actually be my wholemeal flour. Okay, so I couldn't actually find wholemeal flour from the supermarket. Okay, so what I did was that I actually ground my rolled oats, okay, in a blender, okay, to achieve my wholemeal flour. Alright, so that is something that sets this recipe apart. We are using our wholemeal flour because they are actually higher in their fiber content. Okay, and this fiber actually helps to increase your satiety level and prevents you from overeating, especially during this work from home period. Okay, so I'm gonna add in my wholemeal flour into my mixing bowl. Okay. So in my mixing bowl, I'm gonna add in our other dried ingredients. Okay, and these includes my baking powder. Okay, my baking soda. Okay, as well as my salt. Okay, so for those of you who don't already know, actually a lot of our baked goods do contain a certain amount of sodium, and a lot of times they are hidden and disguised, okay, in your ingredient list. Okay, that's because a lot of baked goods like cakes and breads, they do contain sodium bicarbonate. Okay, and as the name sodium suggests, they are actually your hidden sources of salt. Okay, so in this case, I've actually reduced the amount of salt added to the recipe. However, it is still essential to add your salt in, okay, because they actually helps to bring out the flavor and the aroma of the other ingredients that you are using for this banana bread. Okay, so I have a question from Emlyn. Can you omit the wholemeal flour? Of course, if you do not want to use the wholemeal flour, you can use regular plain flour. Okay, however, like I've said, wholemeal flour actually contains higher fiber, and that actually makes this recipe more nutritious and healthier as well. So if you don't really like maybe the texture or the taste of the wholemeal flour, what you can do is that instead of a 50-50% ratio, you can actually do a 75% wholemeal flour and 75% of your plain flour and 25% of your wholemeal flour. Okay, so that's something that you can do as well, Emily. Okay, so Michelle has a question. I happen to have two going to spoil bananas. Is that all right? Of course, for the bananas, if your bananas are going to spoil, usually it actually represents that they are actually very ripe. Okay, and the good thing about using very ripe bananas for this recipe is that the riper the bananas are, the sweeter it is. So Michelle, you can still use your bananas, okay, and you can be assured that your banana bread will be sweeter than ever. Alright, okay. So in here, I've added all my dry ingredients. Just a quick recap. We have our plain flour, wholemeal flour, baking soda, baking powder, as well as our salt. Okay, so now that my dry ingredients are done, okay, I'm just gonna give it a good mix. Okay, as you can see, gonna give it a good mix. Okay, yeah, so oats are actually really versatile. Not only can you make your own overnight oats or your slow cooked oats, but you can even grind it in order to use it as a flour. Okay, so now that our dry ingredients are done, okay, we're gonna start preparing our wet ingredients. Okay, so for the wet ingredients, we require a bigger bowl like that. Okay, so in my bowl, I'm gonna add in my bananas first. Okay, so like I've mentioned earlier, it will be great if you can choose bananas that are riper. Okay, because the use of bananas here is actually a form of natural sweetener, and that is the reason also why we actually cut down on the amount of sugar that we'll be using later on. Okay, so I'm just gonna use 3 ripe bananas. Okay, so talking about bananas, okay, do you know that bananas are actually a good source of potassium? Okay, and what is potassium needed for? They're actually needed to help regulate your blood pressure and to keep your heart healthy as well. Okay, so bananas often get a bad rap, okay, because of their sugar content. Okay, so again, we need to recognize that bananas should be consumed as part of a varied diet, meaning to say that you shouldn't have bananas for all your fruit serving. You should always complement and pair it together with other fruits like, apples, strawberries, kiwi, dragon fruit, and that is actually perfectly fine. Okay, so we do have a question from Lily. Okay, how does the blender look slide to grind plain oats. So basically, any blender works perfectly fine. You might have a blender at home or a food processor at home. I would suggest that you use a blender instead, because a blender would help you to achieve a more fine texture as compared to a food processor. Okay, so to answer that question, Lily, any blender is actually fine, and that works perfectly well as well. Okay, if you feel that after grinding your oats it's still a little bit coarse, what you can do is actually to use a sieve, okay, and sieve it through once more, okay, and that will actually ensure that your wholemeal flour is actually fine. Okay, can you add nuts? Sure. Okay, in this recipe, we're actually using almonds, okay, but on your own at home, okay, you can feel free to add other types of nuts as well. Okay, how about Lily? Could you suggest what other nuts could we actually use in the recipe apart from almonds? Okay, or how about the other viewers who are watching? What do you think you can actually add to this recipe apart from almonds as a substitution? Okay, we have another question from Blurberry. Okay, can I do without baking soda? Okay, the answer is yes. Okay, you can actually do without baking soda, because baking powder in itself has already a component of baking soda. Okay, but the difference about baking soda and baking powder is that baking soda contains a slightly more acidic compound, which allows your bread to rise better when it actually comes in contact with another acidic ingredient, in this case brown sugar. So if you want to omit the baking soda, okay, what you can do is to add triple the amount of baking powder to replace the baking soda. Okay, so in this recipe, I'm actually using 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. If you don't want, you can actually just add 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder to replace it. Okay, so does that answer your question, Blurberry Ming? Okay, so we have other suggestions like walnuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, okay, raisins. Okay, these are all great suggestions. Okay, so basically later on I'll explain, okay, why are we using different variety of nuts. Okay, so as you can see, I've actually got all my bananas mashed up like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna add in my melted, unsalted butter. Okay, like I've mentioned earlier, a lot of baked goods do contain a certain amount of sodium already, so it is recommended that we actually choose to use the unsalted butter instead of the salted ones. Okay, so I've added in my butter, okay, my bananas, and last but not least, my brown sugar. Okay, so in this recipe, it will be advisable to use brown sugar instead of our regular white sugar. Reason being that brown sugar is slightly more acidic, and it actually works better with your baking soda so that your bread can actually rise better. Okay, so now that all our wet ingredients are in, just give it a good mix. Okay, so we have a question. Is baking soda not good for health? Okay, in the case of baking soda, basically it acts like a leavener for your baked goods. Okay, so we are actually using just a small amount of baking soda, okay, which is actually alright. Okay, in comparison to your commercially prepared bread, there might be a lot more chemicals in there. For example, like, your preservatives, your emulsifiers, your stabilizers. So actually using a bit of the baking soda in this recipe is actually fine. Alright? Okay, but of course, with that said, we are also looking at the total amount of sodium that you're consuming daily. Because as we know, baking soda contributes to sodium content, but more importantly, in your other food choices, yeah, do try to cut down on your other unnecessary sodium from the other sources instead. Okay, so now I'm whisking up my eggs. So I'm using 2 eggs here. Okay, so after whisking my eggs, I'm gonna add them into my wet mixture. Okay, talking about eggs, okay, eggs are actually excellent source of protein, okay, that helps you in your tissue repair and growth, okay, but the concern about egg actually lies in the egg yolk, which contains higher cholesterol. Okay, so could you make a guess? Okay, how many eggs are you allowed to consume on a weekly basis? And leave your comments down below. Hey, we have another question from Emmeline. Okay, this banana bread recipe is for how many people or how many serving? Okay, this portion that I'm making here, okay, is actually about 8 servings. So you can actually use 8 slices of banana bread later on. Okay. Alright, so after giving our wet ingredients a good mix, okay, now we are ready, okay, to add in our dry ingredients. Okay, so we're gonna add in our dry ingredients, okay, into our huge mixing bowl, okay, in 2 parts. Okay, you can add them in slowly. Okay, so this is actually a very good arm workout. If you haven't been exercising during this circuit breaker period, okay, then you can do some arm workout like that. Okay, so we have some answers with regards to the egg consumption. Okay, so we have 2 eggs, 1 to 2 eggs a day, 4 eggs per week. Okay, 4 eggs per week. All right. So basically, in terms of our egg, okay, we are looking at the egg yolk consumption. Okay, so in a week, it is recommended that you don't consume more than 4 egg yolks. Okay, if you choose to consume the egg white every single day, okay, that's perfectly fine. Okay, but in terms of the egg yolk, okay, we do look at the recommendation, which is no more than 4 egg yolks per week. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna add in the last part of our dry ingredients. Okay, and give it a good mix. Okay, so after we have mixed up all our dry ingredients in, okay, we're gonna add in our vanilla extract as well as our raisins and almonds. Okay, so earlier on, many of you suggested, okay, adding in walnuts, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. Okay, those are all excellent suggestions. Okay, because all of these seeds and nuts has very high unsaturated fat content. Okay, and they're actually cardioprotective, and that also helps you to boost your overall brain health. Okay, so now I'm just gonna add in my vanilla extract. Okay, so just 1 tablespoon of my vanilla extract. Okay, give it a good mix. Okay, so we have a question from Rebecca. I'm unable to watch the whole video live. Yeah, we will be sharing the recipes later on in our Telegram channel. Okay, so if you haven't already joined our Telegram channel, okay, please download the Telegram app. Okay, subscribe to Healthy SG, and in there you can find all our recipes. You can find our cooking and exercise schedules as well. All right. Okay, so where to download the recipe? Okay, yeah, it's actually the Telegram channel, all right? So Lily, you can actually download the Telegram app, and then you can actually download our recipes on the Healthy SG channel. Okay, so now I'm just gonna add in my last 2 ingredients, raisins, as well as my almond. Okay, so as you can see in this recipe, we actually choose to use a lot of fruits, be it the fresh fruits or the dried fruits. It's actually a tip for you that all of these are actually natural sweeteners, so you can actually cut down on the amount of sugar that's needed in this recipe in itself. Okay, so now that we are all done, okay, this is the mixture that you'll be seeing. Okay, not too fluid, neither is it too thick. Okay, so this is the type of consistency that we want. Okay, so after mixing it all up together, okay, and we are done. Okay, so basically the last step here is to whip up your rice cooker. Okay, and we are gonna grease the rice cooker with just a little bit of butter to prevent it from sticking to the sides later on. Okay, so you can use a kitchen towel. Okay, smear a little bit of butter. Okay, and just give your rice cooker a good grease. Okay, so a tip for you, okay, is that if you are using a smaller rice cooker, okay, your bread will be thicker, okay, and higher in its depth. Okay, so it wouldn't get burned so easily. If you're using a rice cooker with a larger circumference, then your bread might end up being very thin and it gets burned more easily. Okay, so if you are using a larger rice cooker, maybe a tip for you is to do it in a bigger portion so that you can actually still get a bread of a certain depth. Okay, so as you can see, okay, our rice cooker is well greased now. So all we need to do, okay, is to pour it into our rice cooker. Okay. So after we have poured it into our rice cooker, okay, just give it a good shake. Okay, like that. Okay, and we are done. Okay, so now the last step is to place this in your rice cooker and let it cook for 2 cycles. So typically one cycle is about 45 minutes long. So what you can do is that after one cycle is up, open up your rice cooker, use a satay stick to poke through to make sure that it's cooked. If it's not cooked, okay, then you cover it back again and let it run for another cycle. But do check in as and when, just to make sure you don't overcook the bread, because the bottom will be burnt if you cooked it for too long. Okay, but for usual cases, okay, you take about 90 minutes to prepare this banana bread recipe in the rice cooker. Okay, so how big is this rice cooker? This rice cooker here is actually, it's about 4 liters. Okay, 4 liters in size. Okay, so that is for you to have a gauge. Okay, so it's actually a rice cooker that can contain about 4 liters of water. Okay, so now you can put this in your rice cooker. Okay, and I'm gonna show you the end product of how it's gonna look like. And voila! This is what you'll get. A very yummy, okay, and very simple and nutritious banana bread. Okay, so I'm just gonna dig in, okay, so that you know how's the taste of it. Okay, you can even put some sliced bananas by the side. Okay. Okay, it's gonna be a very dense bread. It may not be the same kind of consistency that you will assume from those commercially prepared ones. Okay, but it's really very flavorful. Okay, it's so flavorful that you don't need any bread spread to go along with it. It pairs so well with your coffee or your tea during your afternoon break. And a tip is that try to have it warm. Otherwise, it will be a bit too dense for your liking. Alright, so this is how the end product looks like. Okay, really easy and very simple. Okay, if you want to know how it tastes like, you need to try it for yourself. Okay, so download our Telegram app and subscribe to our channel to get the recipe to try it on your own. Okay, so with this, we've actually come to the end of today's live cooking session on our rice cooker banana bread. Okay, if you still have other questions, alright, you can actually continue to leave your comments below and we will be sure to answer you. Okay, so hope you have enjoyed today's session. Okay, again, just a reminder, if you have not download the Telegram app, please do subscribe to Healthy SG, and that's where you can find all our recipes, cooking and exercising schedule. And if you have already been exercising with us, okay, you can actually join us in our Active CB challenge. Okay, so what's this challenge all about? Very simple. Even as you join us for our virtual Zoom workout, okay, you can take a video or a picture of yourself exercising, tag us, me, Matt, on either Instagram or Facebook, okay, and the top 20 with the most number of tags would actually get a chance to win $50 NTUC vouchers. All right, so please join us in our virtual workouts as well, okay, and join us in this Active CB challenge. Okay, so Till then, we will see you and stay safe. You can see me again on Thursday as you join me for a healthier cocktail session. And you can see Jolene and her kids in action again tomorrow as they bring you a healthier, colorful quesadilla recipe. Alright, so hope you have enjoyed today's session and we will see you soon. Okay, bye!